One more race to go until the championship. Reddick and Joey Logano know they will be racing for a title, but we still have 2 more spots up for grabs, and 6 drivers will be racing with their season on the line. The situation is simple: go big or go home, at a track with more NASCAR history than any other place in the sport. After tonight, 4 drivers' dreams of becoming a champion are that much closer to becoming reality, while the other 4 will be leaving here in utter defeat. Welcome to the final race in the round of 8 of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. It's the Xfinity 500 from the Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia. And for the penultimate race of the 2024 campaign is gorgeous, cool, crisp weather. Gonna be in the mid to low 60s. No chance of rain in sight. Basically just a 6-mile-an-hour wind through northeast of the racetrack. Gusts of wind can get up to as high as 9 miles an hour, but with Martinsville being short of a track that it is, wind will be no factor at all. It is otherwise a gorgeous, gorgeous day to go racing. Welcome everyone back to episode of MDK Racing. My name is Jett. Hope we're having a wonderful Sunday, the 1st November of the season. Like I said, it is the penultimate race of the 2024 campaign, the final race of the round of 8. We have a lot to talk about here in today's episode, lots of storylines to go over, so let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Last weekend in Miami, Reddick with an incredible last lap pass on the final lap takes the win away from Ryan Blaney, and because of that, he's now locked into the championship for the first time in his career. It is also 2011's first ever championship 4 appearance. So he and Joey Logano know they are safe. Christopher Bell plus 29 in 3rd place. William Byron now takes over the final playoff spot at the moment, 7 points ahead of his teammate Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin now minus 27. Ryan Blaney with his 2nd place finish went from winning the race, seemed as though he'd be locked into the championship 4 on the final lap. He's now minus 38 below the cut line. Chase Elliott bringing up the rear at minus 43. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR and proud sponsor of the Busch Light Pole Award, given to the fastest driver at each NASCAR Cup Series event. Busch Light congratulates Martin Truex Jr. for his 24th career Cup Series pole, his first pole of 2024, and the 3rd pole of his career here at Martinsville. In fact, the last time he was on pole was exactly here at this race 1 year ago, completing it with a speed of 96.190 miles per hour. Since 2020, Busch Beer has invested more than $70 million in becoming a premier sponsor of the NASCAR Cup Series. So here's a look at the starting lineup for the 2024 Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway. Starting alongside Martin Truex Jr. is Chase Elliott, who won here back in the fall of 2020 in a must-win scenario. Looking to repeat that here today. Row 2 is his teammate William Byron, who won here back in the spring. Alongside him is Chase Briscoe in the 14 ride. Row 3, how about this? Ty Gibbs and Harrison Burton, a great qualifying run for him in 6. Row 4, Alex Bowman and Ryan Preece, a short track star. He won pole here, I believe 1 or 2 years ago in that 41 ride. And right at the top 10 is Kyle Larson, another former winner here at Martinsville, and Austin Dillon in the 3 car. Row 6 has rookie Josh Berry and Joey Logano, who are a former winner here. Row 7, Todd Gillen and Ryan Blaney, the defending fall Martinsville race winner. Row 8, Daniel Hemrick and Christopher Bell in the 20 ride. Michael McDowell making his 500th career Cup Series start. Alongside him is Brad Keselowski, who won here back in 2019. And right at the top 20 is Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez. Row 11 has Eric Jones and Ross Chastain in the 1 ride. Kyle Busch, a former winner here. Alongside him is Austin Cindric. Noah Gragson and Chris Buescher, row 13. Carson Hocevar, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., row 14, and bringing up the rear in the top 30 is Shane Van Gisbergen back in the 16 ride and Justin Haley in the 7 ride. And there's a look at the final 4 rows. Reddick, 31st, absolutely shocking qualifying run for him, but he's in the playoffs, or he's already locked into the next round, so it does not matter. Alongside him is John Hunter Nemechek, Kaz Grala and Corey LaJoie, Josh Bilicki and Zane Smith. And starting in dead last will be Denny Hamlin. And the reason why for that is what took place back in practice yesterday. Heading into turns 3 or 4, Denny Hamlin's throttle got stuck, backs it into the wall, hard contact, but the team did not go to a backup car. They spent hours preparing that car to be just as good as new. So he will not have a backup car. This is the original car that he raced with in practice. Now the reason why for the throttle stuck, according to his crew chief, a stray chunk of rubber had found its way under the hood, lodging into the throttle body to cause the incident. We're going to talk about Denny Hamlin a little bit later on in the episode, but let's take a look at the odds to win now. Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott all with that plus 450 odds of winning. Byron, the defending race winner back back in the spring at 650 alongside the defending fall winner, Ryan Blaney, also at 650. Denny Hamlin at 750, but he's going to have to come from a long ways behind, starting in dead last. Christopher Bell, who won here back in 2022 in the fall in a must-win situation at 1100. Ty Gibbs and Chase Briscoe then jumped to 2000 with Joey Logano at 2200. Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman both sitting at 2,500, Keselowski at 3,500, Tyler Reddick, teammate Bubba Wallace, 4,000 and 4,500 respectively, Ryan Preece and teammate Josh Berry at 5,000, Chastain and Buescher at 5,500, and Harrison Burton finally bringing up the page at plus 7,000. So what can we expect here at Martinsville today? Well, we do know that for tires, Goodyear is bringing the softest tire they have ever produced at Martinsville on the left side. On the right side tire is the same tire compound that they ran at North Wilkesboro, and which is the option tire that they ran at North Wilkesboro and at Richmond in the fall. Now, we did see some good things happen. There was a moment where Ty Gibbs got loose coming off of the corner in turns 1 and 2. That's a good thing. Yeah, I've never seen an next-gen car get loose at Martinsville coming off the corner. That's usually when you get on the throttle and gas the car up. So for him to see that, for us to see that, that's some hope. That's good hope. We also saw, the racetrack darken a little bit. From the beginning of practice to the ending of practice, we saw the racetrack darken a little bit on the racing line. The only thing I do worry about is that with the rubber being laid out, we have seen that rubber gets laid out and then the rubber fills the pores, the holes in the tire, so that the tire basically just stays level. It doesn't start to wear anymore. So that will be interesting to see. I did take a look at the lap averages. If you take a look at the 5 lap averages to the 40 lap averages, it was around 3 or 4 tenths off between those lap times. So again, there are some things that does offer a bit of hope, but again, you're talking about 34 lap times compared to 100, maybe 200 lap run it could possibly be, because I don't expect to see many cautions in this race today. At least if you look at the past next gen races, there haven't been many cautions. Now, I saw someone say that we started the truck series with a confrontation, then Saturday night we saw a punch, a slap. Are we going to have an all-out brawl? I don't think so. I do think it can be an improved race, but I don't expect it to be like what we saw in the next-gen era of short track racing, where we see that good old bean and banging type of racing. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think it will be an improvement. Now, history tells us that if you're a playoff driver, your odds of winning are good. 3 of the last 4 Martinsville Fall races have been won by playoff drivers. 3 of those 4 have also been won by drivers that needed to win in order to advance to the championship 4. Last year was Ryan Blaney in 2023. 2022 was Christopher Bell, and 2020 was Chase Elliott. They all needed to win in order to advance to the championship 4. Now, Kyle Larson, he can make up that ground. That's 7 points. He can make that easily. But going up against the defending winner back in the spring earlier this year, William Byron, will be a tough task. Christopher Bell, he just needs to score stage points to just be in the top 10. He's currently starting in 16th, so not the best position, but again, he is a former winner at Martinsville. He just needs to run in the top 10 and he'd be in really good shape. Now, the one driver that we are going to be talking about is Denny Hamlin, of course, having a horrible weekend. Was fastest in practice right up until he crashed in turns 3 and 4. So he's starting in a backup, or not in a backup car, but he's starting in a repaired original car. Back of the field, bad pit selection, bad everything. The lowest anyone has ever won at Martinsville was 36th place by Kurt Busch back in October of 2002. That was the only time also that anyone in the 151 Cup races at Martinsville has a driver won outside the top 30. Denny Hamlin is starting 37th, and with him being nearly 30 points below the cut line, unless a Christopher Bell or William Byron have issues, I generally think the only way that Denny Hamlin can go advance to the championship 4 is with a win. I think he's too far back to earn stage points. And again, with the tire wear situation, again, I do think it's going to be an improvement, but I don't expect to see Denny Hamlin go from 37th to 10th by the first stage. I just don't see that happening. Could it happen? Possibly. With the way pit strategy working out, it could happen, but it's going to be extremely tough for Denny Hamlin to do. Yes, he is the winningest driver at Martinsville in the playoff field, but the last time he went to victory lane was back in 2015. So that's something you have to understand, or we have to think about it for a second. It's been almost 10 years since he's been to victory lane here. At the same time, Denny Hamlin in the fall at Martinsville has been insanely good. He has led the most laps in the last 2 Martinsville fall races and has finished in the top 5 in both events. 2022, in turn 3, he was in. Turn 4, he was out because of the Hail Melon. Last year, he had a great car, the fastest car, but Ryan Blaney just had that dog in him and he was able to win that race. So Denny Hamlin has had one of, if not the best cars the past 2 fall races at Martinsville, just hasn't been able to capitalize on it. And speaking of Ryan Blaney, he is the defending race winner, but he wasn't the best in practice. He's also not starting out pretty good in the 14th position, but if you look at his lap times, his lap time averages, as we get into later into the run, to the 10, 15, 20, 30 lap averages, Ryan Blaney gets better, higher up in the practice chart. So it looks as though that Blaney does have that long run speed, which is how he won at Martinsville last fall. So watch out for that 12 car because he was insanely good at Miami last weekend. It is setting up almost exactly like last year where he was really nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, round of 8 comes and he is on a flyer. So that 12 car Blaney could also be very strong here tonight. Now, you have to also look at some drivers that are not in the playoffs. You look at Martin Truex Jr. competing in his final Martinsville race as a full-time driver, a 3-time Martinsville winner. Although he hasn't won since 2021, he has been insanely fast. In the 10, 15, and 20 lap averages, he was fastest. He is also starting on pole. So that 19 ride could give everyone a run for their money as he approaches his final 2 starts in his Cup Series career. And the fact that he hasn't gone to victory lane yet this season, you know he desperately wants to end his career, or at least his full-time career, on a high note. Finally, you look at Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, like I said, he won here back in the fall of 2020 to win and advance his way into the championship 4. He has picked it up. In the round of 8, he has been a lot better. He has come alive compared to the remaining or the previous 10, 12 races in the season where he's kind of just been there. So far in the round of 8, Vegas, he showed some speed. Miami had a real fast car. Martinsville could be a surprise winner. Martinsville could be a surprise shock because even though Chase Elliott only went to victory lane 1 time 4 years ago, Chevrolet has won 4 of the last 6 races, including back in the spring with Hendrick absolutely dominating the field. I think it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, or all 4 Hendrick cars were in the top 5, including Chase Elliott, who finished in the top 5 as well. So when you take a look at the previous recent history for not only Hendrick Motorsports, but for Chevrolet as a whole, and the fact that the last 2 winners have had to win their way to the championship 4, Bell and Blaney, I keep my money on Chase Elliott. I feel like he can surprise a lot of drivers. Now we take a look at our Fantasy Live lineup for Martinsville today. I do have Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, 48 car. I mean, man, if he made tech after Charlotte, he'd be in the hunt, I feel like, because he has been insanely impressive in the playoffs. William Byron, Ryan Blaney, and I do have Denny Hamlin in my garage. Even though he's starting dead last, him and that 11 team at Martinsville, you have to keep your eye on that 11 team. But I do have a driver below the cut line winning their way into the championship 4. And it's not Denny Hamlin, it's Chase Elliott. I have Chase Elliott winning this race and advancing to the championship 4. I feel like it's setting up perfectly for what happened in Martinsville in the fall of 2020. I have the 9 car winning. He has a car. I feel like the team as of late have had the drive. And I think Chase Elliott, he is going to win the race and advance his way into the championship 4. So with that, I do have the 45, the 22, the 9, and the 20. I have those. That's my championship 4 pick after Martinsville is Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and Chase Elliott. But that's it for this episode of MDK Race Day. What do you think is going to happen? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the 2024 Xfinity 500 from the Martinsville Speedway.